This is 6 Minute English from bbclearningenglish.com.
Hello and welcome to 6 Minute English from BBC Learning English. I'm Finn and with me is Rob. Hello,
Hi,
Rob.
Hi, Finn.
Hi. Rob, I have a question for you. Are you good at reading maps?
Well, I have to say, I am. I really enjoy reading maps and I understand them well.
That's interesting. And today we're talking about new research into the differences between men's and women's brains and looking at some vocabulary about brains and thinking. Now, this research says that men are better at some things like reading maps.
Yes, well, I say, I'm good at reading maps, and even my wife would agree. She makes me do all the map reading in the car.
Really? But women are better at other things, like remembering faces. That's according to this research. And before we look at it, I have a question about this incredible and mysterious thing, the human brain. Rob, you're brainy. That is intelligent guy.
Thank you.
But how much does the average human brain weigh? Is it A, 1.4 kilograms, B, 2.2 kilograms, or C, 3.6 kilograms, Rob?
I'll use my brain for this. I'm really racking my brains. That means to think very hard. Right, well, I think C, 3.6 kilograms.
OK, we'll find out if you're right later on. Now, this research was by a team from the University of Pennsylvania in the US. They looked at the brains of nearly 1,000 men and women and found they're wired differently.
Yes, so they're connected in different ways.
Now, let's listen to Dr. Ruben Gur talking about the connections in each hemisphere. Each half or each side of the brain. Now, what's the difference between men and women?
What we found was that in males, the stronger connections run within each hemisphere, within each half of the brain. In women, the stronger connection are between the two sides of the brain.
So men have better links, that's stronger connections inside each half of the brain. So the connections inside the right hemisphere are good, and the connections inside the left hemisphere are good too.
But women have stronger connections between each side. The links are better going from one side to the other, from left to right. But what does that mean?
Well, they say these differences might explain why men are better at learning and performing a single task, like cycling or navigating. That's reading maps and finding your way around.
And it explains why women are often better at multitasking. That's doing several things at once.
And the research also showed that women are better at remembering words and faces and information about other people. And they also had longer attention spans. That means they could concentrate on a task for longer without becoming distracted. Rob? Rob? Rob, are you there?
Oh,
yes.
Sorry. I was miles away. Right, you might be right, Finn, but not...
About the attention spans.
Yes. But not everyone agrees with this research.
No, Professor Heidi Johansenberg from the University of Oxford says the connections inside the brain are not hardwired. Now, in other words, that means they're not permanently fixed and they keep changing.
She said the brain is very complex, so you can't make generalizations about it. Generalizations are statements that are often true, but based on a limited amount of information.
But overall, I think it's an interesting idea. And we asked our audience on social media what they thought about the study.
Cremildo from Mozambique said he's a man and agrees with the survey, and he admires his mother, who's able to do a lot of things by herself.
Pen Pei from Thailand says it depends on the individual. Now, she's good at reading maps and multitasking, but don't ask her about language or driving.
And Hannah Potke from Iran agrees. She said it took her 5 times to pass her driving test.
Now, Rob, earlier I asked you if you knew how heavy the human brain is on average.
And I said C, a heavy 3.6 kilograms.
Very, very heavy brain, and a lot heavier than the average human brain. The answer was, in fact, A, 1.4 kilograms.
OK,
Which,
fine. Mine
yes,
is 3.6.
Yours is
sure.
actually huge. I can see. Yes, you've just got a big head. This compares with the average of 7 kilograms for whales and 1.4, the same, for dolphins. Now, Albert Einstein's brain was actually only 1.2 kilograms, so that's lower than average. And it shows that size isn't everything. Now, Rob, before we go, would you remind us of today's brain-related words, please?
Of course, we had brainy, rack my brains, hemisphere, navigating, multitasking, attention spans, hardwired, generalizations.
Great. Thank you, Rob. And thanks, everyone, for listening. Join us again for more 6-Minute English from BBC Learning English.
Bye.
Goodbye.
That was 6 Minute English from bbclearningenglish.com.